If you want to take a day trip from Paris or get to your next destination in Europe, you may want to take the train. The problem is it can be really confusing to know which station. So in this video, I'll show you what station goes where, how long it takes, where to buy your tickets, and how much it costs to get where you want to go. Now, before we start, let me address flying versus taking the train in Europe. Most, if not all, stations in Europe are in the city center. So you'll leave from the city center and arrive in the city center, which is super convenient. If you decide to fly, you'll need to be at the airport at least 1 hour before your flight, and it may take 45 minutes to get to the airport, plus a 1 hour or an hour and a half flight, then another 45 minutes to get to the city center. In Europe, for most destinations, it's much faster to take the train than to fly. Plus, well, you get to see the countryside and chill. Now, there are 6 major train stations in Paris. There's Gare du Nord, Gare de l'Est, Gare Saint-Lazare, Gare de Lyon, Gare Montparnasse, and Gare d'Austerlitz. Each servicing a specific area of France and beyond, and I'll cover each station. So let's go to the biggest and busiest train station in Paris, which is Gare du Nord. Allez, on y va. This is Gare du Nord, the largest train station in Europe. If you're going to London or Amsterdam, you'll be leaving from here. Now, the top domestic destinations from Gare du Nord are Lille, Calais, Amiens, and the top international destinations are London, Brussels, Amsterdam, and Cologne in North Germany. Now, the cost for a one-way trip to London will vary depending on season. We will start at 75 euros to 200 euros. And if you want first class, it will be 200 to 450 euros. And it will take approximately 2 hours and 15 minutes. But be careful, oftentimes there are delays. Last time we went to London, it took us 5 hours. Now, taking a train ride to Lille from Gare du Nord will take approximately 1 hour on the high-speed TGV train. And it will cost for a one-way regular fare between 20 to 40 euros and 40 to 60 euros if you want to go first class. A train ride to Amsterdam will take approximately 3 hours on the Thalys high-speed train service. Typically, a one-way standard class ticket from Paris to Amsterdam could cost between 40 to 80 euros depending on the booking date and time. And for a first class ticket, it will cost you between 70 to 120 euros. Now, if you want to grab a bite to eat at Gare du Nord, there is Terminus Nord Brasserie, which is right across the station, which serves all the classic and our favorite Carton Boulangerie with amazing sandwiches and pastries. Now, to get to Gare du Nord, you can take Metro Line 2, 4, 5, and the express train RER Line B, D, and E. And the RER B line is the one that goes to both Charles de Gaulle Airport and Orly Airport. And this is Gare de l'Est. This station is going to go to all the cities on the east side of France, as well as Germany. The top destinations in France from Gare de l'Est are Nancy, Metz, Strasbourg, Reims, Troyes, and the top international destinations from Gare de l'Est are Frankfurt, Stuttgart, Munich, and Vienna in Austria. Now, a train ride on the TGV to Frankfurt from Gare de l'Est is going to take you 4.5 hours. A regular ticket one way will cost you between 70 to 150 euros, depending on the booking time and date. And if you want to go first class, it's going to cost you between 120 euros to 250 euros. Now, bear in mind that for Germany, you may need a passport. The train ride to Vienna is going to take you between 8 to 9 hours from Gare de l'Est. And you'll have to change train. This is not a direct destination. Now, the cost for a train ticket to Vienna for a one-way regular fares is 70 euros to 200 euros. And if you want to go first class, it will be 120 euros to 350 euros. Now, inside Gare de l'Est, you will have Starbucks, Paul, Mark and Spencer grocery store, and also a Monoprix. And right outside, you'll have all the regular fast food like McDonald's, Burger King, and there's also a Bouillon Chartier and Le Pain des Copains, which is a sit-down bakery. Now, to get to Gare de l'Est from anywhere in Paris, you can take Metro Line number 4, 5, and 7. There's no RER that goes to Gare de l'Est, but it's literally walking distance to Gare du Nord. So if you're in Gare du Nord and you have a light suitcase, you can certainly make the walk. And this is Gare Saint-Lazare, which basically, if you're going to take the train to Normandy, that's the station. And the top domestic destinations for Gare Saint-Lazare are Rouen, Le Havre, Dieppe, Caen, Deauville, Honfleur, which is a delightful little village, and Etretat. Now, for example, if you want to take a train ride from Saint-Lazare to Deauville, it will take around 2 hours, and it will be on the high-speed TVG train. Now, typically, a one-way standard ticket for Deauville will cost you between 20 to 40 euros, depending on the booking date and time. And a one-way first-class ticket will cost you between 40 and 60 euros. And a train ride to the city of Caen, which is for the Normandy beaches, will take you 2 hours and 20 minutes and will cost from 15 to 30 euros for a single trip ticket. Now, to get to Gare Saint-Lazare, it's fairly easy. You can take RER E, which goes to Gare du Nord, and you also have Metro Line 3, 12, 13 and 14 that all go to Gare Saint-Lazare. Now, this station is fairly centrally located and it's really close to the opera area in Paris. Now, Gare Saint-Lazare has tons of places where you can grab a bite to eat before getting on the train, both inside and outside. Outside, you'll find fast food like Burger King, KFC, and as well as a couple of supermarkets like Carrefour and Franprix. And inside there is the Brasserie Lazare, Pierre Hermé, La Durée, and Monoprix for last-minute purchases. And this is Gare Montparnasse. If you're going to Britanny, Bordeaux, or Biarritz, this is the train station you'll be leaving from. Now, Montparnasse is located in the southern part of Paris, and the closest attraction to it is the Jardin du Luxembourg. The top domestic destinations for Gare Montparnasse are all cities in Bretagne, including Saint-Malo, Nantes, Bordeaux, Biarritz, and Lourdes. Now, a train ride to Saint-Malo from Gare Montparnasse will typically take about 3.5 hours on a TGV train, and the journey is direct. A one-way standard class ticket will cost you between 30 to 70 euros, and a one-way first class ticket could cost between 50 to 100 euros. A train to Bordeaux should take about 2 hours if it's a TGV direct train, and a one-way standard ticket could cost between 20 to 60 euro, and a first class ticket could cost between 60 to 120 euros. Now, to get to Gare Montparnasse, you can take the metro station line 4, 6, 12, and 13. Now, line number 4 is the most central one that a lot of you will probably take, and it's a very long walk from the metro to the train station. And there is no RER line that stops here. Now, if you want to eat nearby, there are some great brasseries like La Coupole and Le Dôme to grab a great meal. Or inside, you have Exquis, La Croissanterie, there's a Starbucks, and a couple of other places you can grab a bite to eat. And outside, you'll find the usual McDonald's and a Monoprix. And this is Gare de Lyon. If you're going to the south of France, Italy, or Switzerland, you'll be leaving from here. Gare de Lyon is one of the main train stations in Paris and serves destinations in the south and southeast of France, as well as international destinations in Italy and Switzerland. Now, the top domestic destinations from Gare de Lyon are Marseille, Lyon, Nice, Saint-Etienne, Avignon, and Aix-en-Provence. And the top international destinations from Gare de Lyon are in Italy is Milan, Turin, and Rome. And in Switzerland, the top destinations are Geneva and Zurich. Now, a train ride to Nice from Gare de Lyon on a TGV will take about 4.5 hours, and the journey is direct. There's no need to change train. And a one-way standard class ticket will cost you between 40 to 80 euro, depending on the booking date and time. And a one-way first class ticket will cost you between 70 to 120 euros. Now, the train ride to Milan will typically take about 5 to 6 hours on a high-speed TGV train. Now, the cost for a one-way standard ticket to Milan is between 50 to 200 euros, and a one-way first-class ticket will cost you between 80 to 300 euros. Now, to get to Gare de Lyon, you can take metro station line 1 and 14, as well as RER line A. And this station is close to Le Marais and Place de la Bastille, and across the river from Gare d'Austerlitz. Now, there's plenty to eat nearby. Inside, you'll have Bonne Journée for coffee and breakfast. You have La Durée, McDonald's, Big Ferdinand, which is burgers. There's a Starbucks, and there's a boulangerie, and there is the famous Le Trembleu for fine dining. Now, outside, you'll find tons of cafes and brasseries like Le Bistrot de la Gare, Lindy Cafe, and Ground Control, which is a lifestyle mall and food truck style court with lots of cuisines. And this is Gare d'Austerlitz. If you're going in the Loire Valley, you'll be leaving from here. Gare d'Austerlitz looks like the smallest train station in Paris. The top domestic destination in Gare d'Austerlitz are Tours, Orléans, and Limoges. Now, a train ride from Paris-Austerlitz to Tours typically takes about an hour and 30 minutes on a high-speed TGV train. The journey is direct and there's no need to change trains. Typically, a one-way standard class ticket from Austerlitz to Tours will cost you between 20 to 40 euros, depending on the booking date and time. And a one-way first-class ticket will cost you between 40 to 60 euros. Now, Gare d'Austerlitz is located very close to Jardin des Plantes and east of the Latin Quarter. To get there, you can take Metro Station Line 5 and 10, as well as RER Line C. And Gare d'Austerlitz is literally across the river from Gare de Lyon. Now, for food nearby, there's not much. The Gare d'Austerlitz is going through a huge renovation, and there's not much inside outside of a couple food stands. And the same is true outside. There's not a lot of choices for restaurants to sit down and grab a bite to eat.